manager here of Hip the Hoopla, and welcome to the Hoop Love Y'all Show. So, welcome. The Hoop Love Y'all Show is where we cover health, humor, and hooping. And just to get us started, I'm trying to have it quiet in here. I have the door closed, but there's rustling going on behind the walls here. So, anyway, if I seem a little distracted, I apologize. Anyway, and I have my little designated distraction tonight. Cute kitty cameo. This is Capri. Say hi, Capri. She's come out because she's let's see here. I've been taking care of Brown, who is a dog that I help take care of. So anyway, when either Brown or Ganesh is over here, other than our other dogs, our regular dogs that we have, then Capri goes into hiding and stuff like that. So she has been coming out today and has been very affectionate. So she's sitting behind my back acting as a furry backrest right now. I don't know why. Anyway, okay, so welcome. Tonight, the Hoop Love Y'all Show theme is nurture. And I wanted to get one thing started here. Here comes the cat around the start. Okay, here we go. Okay, and welcome everybody. So we're going to take a nice deep breath in. So we're going to start with the nurturing process by just relaxing, getting calm, and focusing. Okay, so me included. So alrighty, and take a nice deep breath in, and roll the shoulders back. Exhale it out. Take a nice deep breath in. Roll the shoulders back out, and take a nice deep breath in. Roll the shoulders out, and exhale it out. Okay, so as you're doing this, it's hard to focus because the cat went from the back to walking around. She's just like doing circles around me on my lap here. So anyway, okay, Kitty, you're kind of all right. She's darn cute, but okay. Anyway, one of the reasons for the theme today is we just celebrated Mother's Day, and I thought nurture was a really nice theme to go with. So a lot of times we don't take a lot of time, energy, or effort to nurture ourselves. So if you don't, I've covered this before on some of the other shows. If you don't fill your cup first and have it overflowing, you have an empty cup to give to others. So you don't have the energy, the resources, and all that kind of good stuff. And you can run down your own adrenals and get yourself sick. So definitely take care of yourself, and that includes some of those basics of eating well, getting enough sleep, having good social interactions, all that kind of good stuff, and learning. Learning is one of those really cool things that I just learned today from I caught one of the Food Revolution Summit replays, encore replays, and there was a little tidbit in there from one of the doctors about how learning helps endorphins. And so they were talking about students that learn, either you learn or you don't learn. And one of the ways that you lock in learning of taking in that information is it kicks in endorphins. So that's a pretty cool thing. So I'm here to help with that. If I can relay some knowledge to you, that's great. I'm happy to do that. And I'm going through, my own experiences. Obviously, you're going through yours too. Maybe you can relate to some of the things, and maybe I can help you out with yours. So anyway, and as you guys probably know, I'll give you just a brief update, and that is my arm is, well, let's see here. It was getting better. Okay, and to recap on the arm stuff, this nice little slash in my arm here is from getting melanoma, or AKA skin cancer, removed. It's like the worst kind, whatever. But as far as cancers go, and as far as my doctors were telling me, it was actually the best kind to get. So because it was small, thin, and whatever. But for this little itty bitty teeny tiny little thing that they took out, like that big, it was like a big thing that they took out like that. Yeah, she even made a bigger thing, and then they just and sew it all back together. And so, interestingly enough, I had an incident where I was healing up just great, and I was resting, and I hadn't been out to any of my husband's gigs for at least a month, and so I was trying to go with doctor's orders, trying not to like one up myself and uh, go against and do things in the wrong way. And so what I did is I did what the recommended things were. Well, what I construed to be the recommended things, and I put them all together myself. So I put on sunscreen because the gig was going to be out in the sunshine. I'd be hooping. I was going to just take it nice and easy, gentle. I wasn't going to go be showboaty or anything like that. It was just to be the first time that I got out in public and actually did anything um, since his surgery. So put on sunscreen, good sunscreen, and you remember I've talked about this before. Definitely use good sunscreen because bad, crappy sunscreen can cause skin cancer. So don't do that. And May is Melanoma Awareness Month, so that is information that I will keep sharing with you, and so that you don't have to go through this, even though one in 5 people do. So that's just ridiculous. So please don't be one of those 5. But don't when you look around you, somebody to your side is going to be going through this at some point. So anyway, and they may have it and not know it. Luckily I got in and got it taken care of, but even that was a fluke and a miracle and all kinds of stuff. So things can happen in a really interesting, miraculous way. Anyway, back to the gig. So went to the gig, put on sunscreen, then put on a big Band-Aid over it to make sure that the sun wasn't hitting it, because I'm not supposed to have sun exposure on the scar because it'll turn the scar like pink or purple, or so it will it won't heal. It'll be discolored basically if the sun hits it, and and I've also learned that it takes about a year for a scar to heal properly, like this kind of scar. So to like kind of cure, if you will, to anyway, interestingly enough. And I put a Band-Aid over on top of that, and then I put an armband on, and then I had a long sleeve shirt, so that way the sun wasn't hitting me. I had hat, sunglasses, all the kind of stuff. Didn't have gloves on. I wasn't doing a total Michael Jackson, shielding from the sun type of thing. But, I was definitely trying to be very careful and vigilant for myself. It was my first outing out. So anyway, I hooped. It was warm. Apparently, I have really sensitive skin. Other people might experience that as well. But on the way home, it just started itching terribly. And basically, the sunscreen, the sweat, whatever all happened, the stuff covering it, because I was trying to keep it uncovered, and now I've learned from myself, you have to, part of nurturing is honoring your own body. You know your body best because you live with it 24/7. So I just know that I'm not supposed to cover this. So I've been trying to not, hang out in the sun and, do a lot of gardening or do anything that's, just going to be a lot of sun. So, and when I do go out, I do, have long sleeves on and stuff like that. But anyway, so this got irritated as all get out. And my friend Jen, who is a cardiac nurse, she had been helping me and checking out my scar and stuff like that. And so she took a look at it, and it was like puffy. So it's been puffy. Now, right now I have some Aquaphor on it, but it has, like, I call it like having a dog bone buried in my arm, because it's like poofy at this end of the scar and poofy at this end, because apparently they do this kind of elliptical, like a football, like a football type of scar. So it's kind of elliptical shape, and then they just pull it all together. But apparently these ends here get a little bunchy with the stitches and stuff like that, so the healing is like a little weird. So apparently that's supposed to go down. It hadn't gone down yet for me, but anyway, this got very inflamed and red, and it just itched like all get out. So anyway, my friend, my nurse friend told me, ice it, do some stuff like that. And I was doing some natural stuff. I was doing vitamin E oil and just some gentle stuff like calendula, which is extremely gentle and very natural. So nothing, harsh or anything like that. Anyway, it was getting worse. She was actually very concerned because apparently, interestingly enough, what she had told me was that she would touch it. She would wash her hands first, of course, and she knows how to handle things because this is what she does for a living. But she would touch it, and then it was warm, and so as opposed to other parts of my skin, like the opposite arm, and so what that indicates is possible infection. So she's like, keep an eye on this. And then she was going out of town, and my husband's like, just get in and see the doctor. It's obviously bothering you a lot, and it was really bothering me a lot, and very red and very inflamed. So I got in to see and the medical professionals, and they took a look at it. And good news is it was not an infection, because we were actually thinking it was an infection underneath where the stitches had been, which would be not good at all. So definitely, but it was irritated on the surface of the skin. So they gave me some steroidal cream, of which I went out to the parking lot and I tried some of that on. I put it on there and it was like, ah. Now that's the humor part of the show, is me doing impressions of me being in like skin reaction. So anyway, it was not fun. So I was like, okay, not liking the steroidal cream, and I'm just not about having the chemical stuff, and they knew that, so they were giving me some really good options to help. So one of the options is they were saying sunflower oil was really good because it had some antibacterial properties, and so and then coconut oil, and different things, so different, just nice, gentle, easy things. And so I was trying those, and it just was not doing the trick. I was also icing my arm to bring down the swelling, to bring down the inflammation, and it just, especially at night, and apparently the histamines go nuts in your body at night. So as I had learned with the candida issues that I previously had, and I don't know why, but apparently they flare up and kick up at night and drive you nuts. So anybody else that's experiencing that, you might know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so one night I was trying to go to bed, and I was just miserable, and like literally it felt like somebody was taking needles randomly and like just sticking them in my arm, and all of a sudden I'd be like, ah, and my husband's just like looking at me like, we're trying to watch TV, and I'm just like, you're just, so I had fallen asleep, and he'd like let me sleep, because sleep obviously is when your body regenerates and rejuvenates, and your immune system kicks into gear, and so your body's repairing itself internally while you sleep. So I slept a little bit, but then I woke up to get ready to go to bed because I'd fallen asleep on the couch, and but I woke up and I was miserable again. He goes, go use some Aquaphor, try some Aquaphor. And I was kicking and screaming. He's told me, he's recommended Aquaphor before, and I didn't want to use Aquaphor because it's a petroleum-based product, and I prefer not to use chemicals on my skin. They had given me those originally with the healing when I got my incision done, so with the original surgery. And I didn't really use it. It's like using Vaseline, basically, but with more stuff in it. So not just the petroleum-based stuff. And anyway, I kind of fought back tooth and nail, but sometimes when your angels have messages for you, I call them intuitive hits. Actually, my mom used to say that too, part of the nurturing thing, so shout out to my mom, angel mom, angel messages, I call those too. So sometimes when you get information, sometimes it can be just like thoughts that come to you, honoring your intuition, all that kind of good stuff. Well, I consider my husband as one of those vehicles for information as well. So, the angels were whispering at him, and just going, just do this, like this is a no-brainer. And that's how he said it to me, not that it was a no-brainer, but just like, go do some Aquaphor. It's as simple as that. And I'm like, I was so miserable. I'm like, okay, I just marched to the bathroom, grabbed the Aquaphor, put it on, and so it's been, like a week of healing and stuff like that, and it has been getting better. So it's not like so red and inflamed. I still have spots where I've scratched it so much because it has been itchy. But anyway, so I'm using the Aquaphor and it's working. So it's just that when the clothes stick to it, then that gets a little annoying. And then like if pet hairs or my hair, I have long hair, so gets in there, that becomes incredibly itchy. But it's been healing up nicely. So yay on that. That is one of my healthy recommendations. Sometimes you have to listen to other people and get some nurturing help. So part of nurturing is getting some assistance. But Aquaphor is this stuff here, and this is the Mondo can that my husband's actually had for a while, and advanced therapy for dry, cracked, or irritated skin. So how he knew about Aquaphor and how a lot of people know about Aquaphor is anybody who gets tattoos, this is recommended to put on your skin for healing. So since he's covered, not quite from head to toe in tattoos, but he's got a lot of them. So he's got a lot of body coverage of tattoos. So he knows his stuff when it comes to that. So anyway, so I'm going to throw a yay for this because the coconut oil was bothering me. It was bothering my skin, so I don't know if I was using so much of it that maybe I developed partially a little bit of an allergic reaction. That's what I got an intuitive hit on one night, was that, and we can all be our own medical intuitives, and if you're not sure what that is, it's where you get what's going on with your body. So if you really listen, and sometimes that can come through meditation or just paying attention to your body and honoring what's going on with you. So, be careful with your language and stuff like that. So, like, for instance, if you say, this person's a pain in the neck, and you start developing, like, muscle spasms and cramping and neck stuff, it could be, like, literally that correlative where it's, that's a thing, So I always have this saying of the universe can't take a joke, so tell the universe what you want rather than what you don't want. So if you want healing and you don't want all that kind of good stuff, tell that to the universe so that, and then don't tell the universe how it all comes to you. But, and some people call that prayer, or some people call it whatever, or putting affirmations out there, or good intentions or good thoughts. But one of the things I was learning from the food revolution, I was listening to this gal, Chris Carr, and I had heard of her before, and she is of the Crazy Sexy Cancer. Sorry, my camera just popped off. It's like a little tripod-y thing here. Sorry about that. Okay. That doesn't want to hold on there, right. All right. Don't mind the jiggling. I had this all set up nice. And, almost. I remember when my dad was telling me, he goes, "Shay, this is really unprofessional when you're adjusting your camera when it's live." I'm like, I know, it's not like I'm trying to do that. But anyway, sorry. Oh, goodness. I need to take my camera out of the OtterBox case. Anyway, okay, I'm going to hold it for a moment here, and let's see if I don't know if I can adjust it. Hold on for just a second here. Sorry about this. Technical difficulties, aren't they fun? All right, we'll try one more time. Try and get this in position and try not to turn off the live feed. Oh, goodness. This is a thing that needs to be muscled a little bit. Okay. Okay. Stay. All right. Okay, let's hold out that it holds up. All right. So, anyway, yes. So Chris Carr was talking about how your thoughts, and I've listened to lots of different things, your thoughts go into how you think, when you're thinking about things, go into how you produce your actions, and then your actions produce your results, and all that kind of good stuff. So, and she has a really cool different way of saying it, and really liked the way she went about it. So, and that was, again, from the Food Revolution Summit. Really cool information. Anyway, Chris Carr did a book called Crazy Sexy Cancer, and interestingly enough, and she's done a whole bunch of stuff, and I like the fact that she's plant-based. Sometimes we come to the information when we need to get the information, so I've been wanting to push more plant-based stuff, and I think my body's kicking into gear where it's just like giving me issues, and then, so I understand that, like, when I do more veggies, my body feels better, and feels like more nutrient rich, and I have less brain fog when I don't do like dairy and wheat and just stupid stuff like processed foods and obviously sugar. So these things that I've done, like this little toe dip in the water to try and get rid of before, and then have gone back to these things, you know, thinking that they're no big deal, and then my body's like, ah, psych, it is a big deal. And again, this is just for me, but inflammation for a lot of us can manifest themselves in allergies. And they could be skin reactions, they could be, you know, actual, you know, like how most people think of allergies, of like pollen and hay fever type of thing. So, yeah, so anyway, take that for what it's worth. Any those plant-based things, they help rejuvenate the system. Again, that goes with the nurture theme. Getting those greens in, for me, that's very nurturing. And I didn't start there, so I emphasize this point a lot. So like you know, when I tried vegetarianism, I had many runs at it before. I mean, like you know, and running at it again, and getting it, and then, you know, like kind of backpedaling a little bit on some things. And, you know, there's healthy vegetarians and then there's not healthy vegetarians, because it depends on what kind. Just because it's not a non-meat product, if it's processed, if it has like, you know, like the gluten-free stuff is like the biggest joke of all. I don't want to say the biggest joke, but it's a very big money-making industry. And if you actually read the labels for a lot of the gluten-free products, they have a lot of fillers in there that take the place of gluten products. But you might have tapioca starch and other starches and sugars in there to take the place of the wheat gluten. So be careful of that. And also rice, and you know, I've covered this before too, that be careful with, if you're doing gluten-free products, that if you're compounding those, like doing a lot of gluten-free products, then especially processed ones, there can be a lot of rice in there. Rice has arsenic in it. They've been coming out with these studies lately of how much rice picks up arsenic from the soil. And so that obviously is not a good thing, because when you compound that in the body, you know, it's kind of like lead, not a good thing. You know, the body doesn't do well with that. So try not to, you know, just notice these things. And, you know, like I said, running steps, you know, taking, you know, little toe dips in the water. Kathy Freston calls this stuff leaning in. I love that, leaning in. So, you know, you're giving this a try. Like, if, you know, instead of trying to go all vegetarian and give everything up, excuse the pun, cold turkey, you know, go with meatless Mondays first, you know, is a suggestion like that. Or, you know, instead of, you know, 3 meals a day with animal protein, try 1 meal a day, start with 1 meal a day without, and then see, you know, go into that. And then, you know, you start getting creative and all that kind of stuff, and all those things start kicking into gear. So anyway, I just really wanted to, I'm really digging the plant-based diet, so I really am liking finding things that are very supportive of that. And also with the nurturing, group support is really helpful too. So when you have camaraderie and friendship and family that helps support you in these things, that's very helpful. Not everybody has the benefit of that. So, and you know, part of that support that's nice, you know, like, you know, a lot of people use their friends as therapy because it's cheaper and more accessible, and your friends don't go, time's up. And that's $150 or however much therapy is. But anyway, you get a chance to vent. And I want to tell you, like, how much, you know, like, really venting, just, sometimes I call up my friends, and, you know, normally I'm a pretty positive person for the most part. You know, I do my share of, like, a little bit of whining and complaining, but sometimes I just have to call somebody up and, you know, like when I'm talking to one of my friends and go, I just started off with, I just need to vent, so that they know that the negative stuff that comes out of my mouth isn't about like anybody, you know, the people. I just want to say this and then let it go and release it out there, so that it's just, you know, I just don't keep it bottled up, and release that out. That's part of my nurturing process. So there are other ways to get that out too. Tapping is one of those things. Nick Ortner is a great person to go look up on that, the tapping solution. Tapping's been around for a long time. You tap on various points that are meridian energy points on the body. The eye, the upper eye, here, you tap here, you tap here, you tap here, all while saying there's a little armpit one. You kind of look like a monkey doing this one, and the last one is the top of the head. And you tap through a lot of things, and that helps release a lot of the pent-up energy too, and that can help with pain relief as well. So, and if you have been with me for any amount of time, you know that I'm all about, I recommend anytime I see Facebook posts or whoever is posting stuff or mentioning how, if they're in pain or whatever, I try and encourage humor and laughing a lot, because laughing releases natural endorphins to the body, and that is a stress releasing, it's a happy endorphin, happy hormone that is really excellent in the brain and for the body. So there, if you go look up Dr. Norman Cousins, he healed himself with laughter. He had a bad diagnosis and stuff like that, and he healed himself with humor. So I'm all about that, of just being able to be lighthearted and have that. But sometimes on the other side, we all have light and dark sides to us. Sometimes you do need the balance of, venting a little bit and then getting back to your humor self. So it's not like you can be happy-go-lucky all the time, but you can get to more of that when you release some of the negative energy through whatever means that works for you. Sometimes meditation works, tapping. Exercise is a great way to get some I call it getting your yayas out. So hooping is a wonderful way. And talking to people, using your social network. And then there was a quotation that I found that was mentioned on the summit here, and I really like this. I looked it up for who said this quotation. It's stay close to anything that makes you glad that you are alive. And Hafiz is the, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, Hafiz, Hafiz is the person. So stay close to anything that makes you glad that you are alive. So, if you've been like me or have been going through any of your own stuff at any point of your life, you understand that sometimes, you have to go through the muck to really appreciate even more so the things that, how wonderful life is. So, yeah, anyway. And speaking of that, okay, so I already had the one recommendation of the Aquaphor. Another thing that I just got this in the mail today, and I was so happy because I had originally gotten this book from the library. It's Heal Your Body A to Z with Louise Hay, by Louise Hay. The mental causes for physical illness and the way to overcome them. Great little book. The one that I had gotten from the library was a nice little tiny, small, light paperback. I ended up ordering this. I tried to order it before, but it was like really expensive. Like, I wanted to get the paperback, and the paperback should be like about $10 or whatever, and it was like $40 or $50. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Anyway, I saw this one for like $13 or $14. So, oh, there goes my camera again. Why must this do this? These technical difficulties. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm going to try this one more time. Bear with me for the wiggly motion. All right. Almost. Oh, for the love of goodness. All right. Well, we're just going to be a little cockeyed on an angle there. All right. Anyway, excellent book. So, and it's a quick read too. So it, literally you kind of like look up ailments in here. So, we'll just look up one. I'm looking up all these ones, and I'm trying not to make them funny, because obviously these are some serious things. But sometimes they're funny, so. Okay, so I'll look up the one that I started reading through this. It's like, so I highly recommend reading through it, because it's like little columns. So you like look up the ailment, and then it has problem, probable cause, and new thought pattern. So, for instance, cancer, is the problem, the probable cause, deep hurt, long-standing resentment, deep secret or grief eating away at the self, carrying hatreds, what's the use, So the new thought pattern that you want to put in is and these are like an affirmation type of thing. So I lovingly forgive and release all of the past. I choose to fill my world with joy. I love and approve of myself. So these are, so this is a neat book to help, move along anything, if you have an ailment of some kind. I highly recommend, get a hold of this book. Either pop it up from the library, or, also a lot of your libraries have online resources as well, too. So you may be able to check this out online as well if you don't want to buy it yourself. So I try not to buy books anymore, but this was actually a good reference resource. So I'm happy I have this. It's a bigger, heavier book, and it's got the little spiral bound. But anyway, that's my second recommendation for today. All right, so on the nurturing note, I wanted to get a few little hoop moves in. And on the nurturing note, I wanted to give you a few hooping tips. And also the t-shirt motivation today, tweet me right. So it's Tweety Bird, and I love my my cartoon characters sometimes. Having been a cartoonist for over 20 years, professional cartoonist, and this goes with the nurturing theme. So anyway, okay. So with hooping, what I want you to do for the nurturing part is to start out with a good body position. So with that good body position, we're going to take a nice deep inhale in, roll the shoulders back, and I want you to lift up nice and tall through the spine so that you're nice and lifted. So a lot of times in our days, we're kind of slumped over, and we don't even realize we're slumped over. We're just kind of, our shoulders kind of like start caving in a little bit. And, I'm over-exaggerating this, of course, but, you actually see people in their day that are kind of looking like this and slouched over and hunched over at their desk and, hanging over the keyboard like this. And so if you can take breath, and if you want to, increase the happiness of your day, increase your self-confidence, do a lot of those different things, take that nice deep breath in, roll the shoulders back, and keep it that way. Keep your posture that way. So you raise and get air through the little vertebrae in your spine. Your spine goes all the way from the bottom of your tailbone all the way up into your skull. So keeping your skull on your, with your head on your shoulders and keeping everything together. So respect and honor the beautiful nature of the intricacy of the body and help it along. So rather than working against it, try and work for it. So getting that nice posture as you're hooping. So, a lot of times we lose our posture, and one of the things we do as we hoop, and I'm using a small light hoop because I'm in my office in a small space. So, I might have to do all my recovery moves with this. But what a lot of people tend to do when they're hooping is what we call T-Rex position. So it's when you're bent up, and you sometimes have your flexed foot going, and flexed feet, flexed hands, and then the shoulders kind of creep up to the ears and stuff like that, and you start hunching over, and you're doing that. So I want you to try and think and nurture yourself as you're hooping. And I'm going to turn with the hoop here and open up and extend while you're hooping. So this is just waist hooping, but also this relates to off-body work as well. So waist hooping is on-body work and then off-body work as well. So keep that posture nice and lifted and extended. Whee! Use that happy hoop glee word. When you drop your hoop, that way it's a happy experience. Remember, the universe can't take a joke, so, tell the universe what you want rather than what you don't want. So get some of that nice, big, broad energy going. Get the self-confidence going, but nice and lifted. Also, you breathe better this way too. You get more oxygenation in the lungs. The same thing as I've mentioned before on many occasions with the laughter yoga is you get nice. The nice thing with the laughter is that you get that big laugh and get that big breathing going. But you can get big breathing going through a lot of different variations. So meditation is one of them. So hooping, you know, when you start actually getting your heart rate up and stuff like that. But you can just, if you even just concentrate on breathing and get some of that breath work in with your hooping, so, and just add some of that breath work to your hoop moves. So this is a little less on technique and a little bit more on the tips and tricks that are the basis and the foundation of hooping. So, I so wanted to do the elbow hooping on this one, but I'm still nervous about hitting this, and also I don't really want to drag the hoop through the Aquaphor. So, staying nice and lifted in this, extend out. Keep it moving. Keep a nice smile on your face. So when you're trying to get that confidence, and also use your appendages and get that extension in. So that extension, it's one of my favorite dance tricks with hooping, is to extend and finish out the line. So when you kind of T-Rex or pull your arm in a little bit, you don't have that line extended very well. So if you extend that line out, and I'm a little person, but I love the example of Rachel Bryce, because she's this tiny, beautiful tribal belly dancer. And she's shorter than me, and I'm 5'1". She's got to be like 4 foot something. But when she's on stage, holy cow, she commands that stage as if she's like 8 feet tall. It's amazing to see the amount of stage presence that she has. Now she's 4 foot something or other, right? Or maybe she's 5 foot. I don't know, but she's really tiny, and she dances barefoot too. So she's not in heels or anything like that when she dances. But her extension and her lines, the way she finishes everything. So these lines, when you extend that out, really finishes the lines of everything, and it makes your hoop moves look not only better, but you feel better, and you have more energy and endurance when you're doing that. So try those nurturing techniques of getting the posture well. So also, you're lifting up, rolling the shoulders back, keeping nice and lifted in the spine, and also pulling the abdominal wall in. So take your belly button and pull it up and back towards, on like a little angle. Think of this going. And it's not about sucking in. It's not about not having a belly or anything like that. That's not what it's about. It's about wrapping the abdominal muscles up and in. And so it's about that. So it's still about breathing. So, but we just don't want to go and have that, like posture. Like again, humor in this show, right? So anyway, so keep these as lifted and extended. Keep a smile on your face as much as possible. And when you drop your hoop, you use your happy hoopkali word. So those are some of my recommendations from Shay Rippinger, that's me, of Hip the Hoopla, and for the Hoopla of Y'all show tonight, of nurturing yourself with your hooping, with your humor, with your health, and getting all of that stuff together. So thank you so much for spending the time with me, and hitting the thumbs up, comment below, and thank you everybody for joining me. I really appreciate that. And there's a recording of this too, so you can, if you missed anything, you can go back and rewatch it. And again, throw some thumbs up, hit the like and subscribe on the YouTube channel, and all kinds of good stuff like that. And if you are local in the Denver, Colorado area, I do workshops locally, and I also have some online courses up. And if there's something that you want to learn, connect with me, and I can work with you personally, or get something together that would help you and help others as well. So definitely open to suggestions on that. So thank you so much for joining me, and let's take one little laughter yoga exercise to wrap it up and out, and then I'm gonna pick up the cat again and do the cat cameo. So we have one extra little smile. So we're gonna take, and you know what? I'm gonna do this with an isolation move. So, and I'm gonna do two-handed isolation. So I'm gonna do a laughter yoga move. So we're gonna inhale it in, laugh it all the way out. Inhale it in, laugh it all the way out. Inhale it in, laugh it all the way out. And of course you can reverse directions on that. So, just to keep this video nice and as short as possible, we're going to end it right here. So, thank you very much for joining me. And I did promise you another cat cameo. So, I'm going to lift up a little sleepy kitty. Who's actually, she's not sleepy, she's just cleaning herself. So, this is Capri. So, Capri, we're going to say, peace out, rock on, and everybody have a wonderful day. And we'll see you guys next week on next Monday. All right, bye.